I will say you look really good with this cam.
You're looking good too, sir.
Thank you.
It's the same camera I use every week.
I know, just like I don't know what it is about this one, but ladies and gentlemen, we're live for the Beacon TVL show, and Andrew looks really good with his lighting in this cam. I think I might need to pick up this cam. Uh, for anybody who's looking to get into to content creation, I know Andrew's, invested in a really good was that an Insta 360?
Yeah, it's an Instalink. Um, it's been part of my purging razor products from my life as they've failed me.
Mm,
Do you still have any razor products in your life, Chris, or have you
yeah,
purged
I'm
as
still
well?
using the Razer Kaio Pro for my webcam. I need to purge that and get to either some type of vlogging camera or something to get a bit better, but just
I feel
depends.
like yours has served you better than mine has. 'Cause I think we got it about the same time. Because I was actually copying you. But do you
Mm,
remember all of those like random freezes and connection issues I had with it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know if I got a lemon, but I've had razor mice die on me after 2 or 3 months. My Kaio Pro issues, like I've moved on. I've
You
moved
moved
on.
on, and now you're firmly entrenched in the camp of the Insta.
Yeah, I mean it's really nice and small too, so it's good for travel. It's good for travel. And it has a lot of really cool features that frankly I don't use. But, it's cool to have them still. So let me ask you a question, Chris,
Yes,
before
sir.
we get into things. You know what's gonna be different about this show next week?
What's that?
Well, the Bitcoin halving is in 2 days. So we'll be in a post-halving world.
You're right. We will be.
Yeah.
What are your plans post having?
Probably like retire. I don't know.
Really? Next week you're going to be retiring. That's amazing.
That no, that's not what I said. I
Oh,
mean, post
oh, okay.
halvening, that's a long period of time. You didn't say like how short after, right?
Yeah, that's true. I know something that will be happening next week.
Yeah.
People are going to like and subscribe on this particular show because they're going to be curious to see what is Andrew going to do next week post halvening. I don't think you should shave, sir. I think you look great. I think you should continue on this beard expedition. I
What if I
myself
just
am
shave half my beard in a couple of days?
really. You're going to go for like a goatee or neck beard?
No, I was thinking just like literally one half of my face just to celebrate the halvening.
I like that idea. Maybe I'll like shave just like one half of my head, just for the Bitcoin happening.
I'd be scared for you, Chris, because I don't know if you'd get all that hair back.
I've already lost half my hair back here, so it's fine. Maybe that's already been my having priced in. So
Uh all right, I got to admit I don't think our cold open game is very strong today. I think that's
not
on
not
me.
yeah,
I led us down a
it's
path.
unfortunate.
Let's move on.
Let's get into it. So speaking of having, the having countdown is live. We're looking at block height 840,000. So blocks on Bitcoin happen once every 10 minutes for anybody who's not aware. So a very slow time to finality on the Bitcoin blockchain kind of adds to a little bit of game theory, really, in terms of how you could possibly take advantage of that if you're a protocol. In any case, we're going to have reduced rewards within that time. Roughly about, oh, that's actually gone up, but it was actually lower. It was on like just 4 hours, maybe like 2 hours ago. So maybe there was a little bit of a lag or something to make the block counter go up, or rather slow down. But yeah, so just over 2 days. So I guess we're looking at Friday around dinner time Eastern is where we're going to see this halving happening. You know, we've seen a lot of pullbacks, rebounds. I mean, BTC dominance has been interesting. The ETH BTC chart is below 0.05, which is, you know, interesting. And we're seeing, gold go up. We saw Dixie kind of ride up and down. There's a
ETH's
lot
not
of
having a great
chart
time right now. That's true.
yeah. The chart activity has been a little interesting over the last couple weeks, really, because we were at 73K 3 weeks ago, and then now we've kind of gone back and forth over the last uh, couple of weeks, specifically to see where we're at. So, uh, this is a pullback. This is a correction. For those who are curious about if it's a good time to DCA in, I mean, if you're DCAing, it's not really, you don't really care about the price, but this could be an entrance for you at this point. Uh, Thoughts, Andrew, if there's going to be, any better entries than right now?
I think the real value is in high conviction altcoins and getting some exposure to that as things are bleeding a little bit. Um, this is I think this is a time in the market where it pays to have some perspective. Um, this is psychologically, I think a lot of folks are probably having trouble with their conviction right now. There's probably a little bit of, oh, has Bitcoin topped? Is it over? Um, and I think especially for folks that are in here for their first cycle, first of all, congratulations, welcome to the fun. But second of all, there is, psychologically, we're just predisposed to sell the bottom and buy the top. So if there's any Seinfeld fans in the audience, that if you're having those feelings, very much not financial advice, but you might want to make like George Costanza and just do the opposite of what you think.
A little bit of inverse bra.
Yeah, so if there's blood, that's an opportunity. So there's lots of altcoins that could do very well during the rest of the cycle that are down 30% right now. That's a dip.
That is a dip. Are there
Um,
any in particular that you're quite bullish on? Obviously, not financial advice, just ones that in particular.
I have to start with base because it's base related altcoins that lead that to me. I've been picking up some more Arrow, some more Extra. But that is something that I consider to be both high conviction but high risk. I think the other point of it is just going down the list of established altcoins that are experiencing some distress. Um, I want to buy some Uniswap at some point. I haven't yet, but Uniswap is down 40% on the FUD. If we're bullish, Uniswap eventually, winning in court or resolving the attack that the government is levying on it, that is something that could rebound in the future. Definitely some risk there. But I think, anything tied in with the data availability narrative or just, really established projects that have deep pockets and have shown that they've survived into this cycle. I'm looking at you, Filecoin. There's a lot. There's too much to get into on one call, but I think there are altcoins that haven't seen their moment in the sun for this cycle yet that are currently offering nice discounts. So depending on how your portfolio is currently positioned, adding something from a particular segment might make more sense for you. Um, for me, I'm looking for those distressed assets. I'm looking for entries on Phantom and Uniswap, and I'm doubling down on base.
No, I like those. I like calls myself. I like Solana at this price, honestly, because for me, it's about what are the platforms that people are going to use in the next 3 to 6 months, right? So, I like Solana at this price. Obviously, 200 is a much better price, but I like Solana at this price. Another one that I'm curious about is
If you like
Ton,
it at
which is
200, you're gonna love it at 128, sir.
exactly right. Same thing with Ton Coin. So Ton is the open network from Telegram. And there's been a lot of movement on Telegram, and they're going to have payments, and other services originating from Ton. So for me, it's amazing that they have a ridiculous market cap. May not make the most sense as a short term buy, but I think a long term play. I think Ton is definitely going to be pretty good. Same thing with Avalanche. If you liked it at 135, you're going to love it at $32, right? Hopefully you're not too badly underwater if you bought it at 150, but for those who DCA in, uh, it is what it is. But yeah, I like your call. I
So
like your thought about uni as well.
I'm also, to be fully honest and to be fully, helpful on in this segment. Um, it really comes down to whether you are betting on this being it for the cycle, and you're going to get shaken out, and you think that this is it, or everything's on sale and it's a dip. I'm in the everything's on sale camp. So if you think everything's on sale, like I do, everything's going to go back up, and it's just a matter of like what is more likely to go back up and higher. So I think there's a place for established altcoins. Like Solana's not going anywhere, in my opinion. Um, Uniswap not going anywhere. You know, SEC might not let them be, but the unicorn is going to continue. And then there's ecosystem plays where things that are really about more about capital inflows. And I think base is the obvious one. Base is the mid curve obvious take. And it's doing really well, and I don't think it's over. And then from there, kind of you're going into more higher risk things, meme coins, DeFi ecosystems that may very well expand and um, and gain additional market share as we continue. But these are all, this is all based on the thesis that everything's on sale, right?
Yeah.
So if you believe everything's on sale, you know, carve off a couple percentage points of your higher risk allocation. That's what I'm doing. Could go shopping for altcoins.
What's interesting is that CoinGecko actually has a filter called cat themed coins with a fire emoji next to it. Now we're just in an odd situation in the cycle when they literally have a filter for cat themed coins by market cap. Um,
Hey man, people are fading dogs, cats are in.
That must be it. We're out of the dog loving phase. We're back in a cat phase. So, um, obviously I'm not here to pump my own bags, but everybody loves if you love cats, there's a certain female cat coin on Injective that could use some love. But anyway, so yeah, when we're talking about catalysts, right? So obviously this is going to be
Oh,
this
ho,
is
ho!
what? What's that?
Catalysts, sir.
Ah, I didn't even see that. I didn't even. Oh wow. I really need to pay attention to my own dad jokes. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that. Uh, we'll segue back over uh, to where we think this. This is an interesting article because it really just paints the halving as a nothing burger specifically for the largest mining operations on the planet. Over the past couple of the let's call it the last 2 years almost, because obviously 2 years ago was midway through this through the point to come to this halving. You saw multiple operations consolidate, be acquired by the big five as they're calling them. Uh, Marathon spectacularly bought one of their competitors out not that long ago. And what's interesting about this is that it's not that it's a nothing burger for them, but they've been bracing for this for quite some time. In fact, I guess let me look if I can find the one thing that I'm looking for. But um, these spikes have been good to miners. So hopefully, if you've had profits coming in, if you've been able to find some profits, hopefully you've made enough to kind of carry you through the um, next year or so. But if there is a catalyst, going back to that, that could make this interesting, I think it's this one. And that is Hong Kong regulators have approved the launch of both Bitcoin and Ether ETFs on the Hong Kong market. That to me is huge because, well, we like Asian bidding, right? Asian bidding is good for crypto overall. So this happened on Monday, and this is interesting, mainly because crypto is illegal in mainland China, whereas in Hong Kong they've kind of created this experimental economic opportunities, and of course they have their own proxies and all that to kind of filter most of this news out. But down in Hong Kong, where there's a lot, I think when they Andrew, was it like last July? I think I should have had Gabe come on to talk about this, but they had at least 80 companies trying to get a license to be in Hong Kong to be a crypto broker or financial, advocate, I guess, for crypto in that space.
Yeah, I don't remember that particular point.
But yeah, I think this is a very interesting catalyst that I think is going to be helpful for, especially at these prices, seeing a lot of Asian bidders come in and eat the dip, as we like to call it in DeFi. I do see something like that uh, being a thing. They may have to
Yeah,
wait a
I
couple,
don't think
you know.
ETF season has played out. I was walking through an airport the other day
Mhm.
and I saw a video billboard for Grayscale talking about their ETF products.
What did you think about it?
I was kind of low key bull market vibes, right? So when it's Super Bowl commercial season, that's where kind of it's you're getting around peak euphoria. But
Right.
we're in low key institutional advertisement phase.
Yeah, and of course, when you're in the airport, most of these ads are going to be played to business travelers and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, I do think that this will be very helpful. I think to get Bitcoin back on its feet and back on an upward trajectory. They're just going to have to wait for 3 or 4 days while the waters recede in Dubai, where they're all at right now. Um, Most of these bidders. uh, crazy floods right now, by the way, in Dubai. If anybody has seen the news, there's like, a half foot of water in Death Valley's, saltwater basin as well. So mm, crazy times.
Oh man,
But yes,
might have to check
yeah,
on some friends.
yeah. The lake has emerged after decades of being dry. But yeah, I think that for me personally, I think this is huge news with regards to ETFs. Now, I don't know if the Ether ETFs will have a huge demand, honestly, because they haven't at least had that type of demand based on what we've seen, mainstream media cover, at least in the US. But I do think for the Bitcoin ETF, this could be good for more access to ETF funds to purchase more Bitcoin, specifically because less Bitcoin is going to be released as rewards. So, gonna have to fight for the pie there, guys. So we'll see what happens.
I think are you in camp it's priced in or camp it's not priced in, Chris?
I'm in camp. It's priced in mainly because they've had 4 years to think about this, right? And it's not like it's an event that just got announced like 12 months ago or even 6 months ago. I mean, these are known timeline things. So I do think the majority of the price action should be, for the most part, priced in. A lot of people have made moves over the last 18 months. Obviously, you can go check eBay. Graphics cards are in good spots again. It's not crazy like it was 18 months ago where you couldn't find a graphics card, even a really crappy one, at a decent rate, so at a decent price rather. So, um,
I kind of don't think it's priced in.
you don't think so? Give me
Yeah.
give me your take.
There's going to be less selling pressure from miners because the miners are going to have less fees.
Right.
Less selling pricing, excuse me, less selling pressure
Pressure.
is bullish. Um, and I think until cycle theory is proven wrong, I think the logical thing is just to consider that it will continue. We're always here arguing every cycle about how this time it's different. I don't think it is. I think it's more the same than different. And based on that, we should have a better year in 2025 than in 2024. Um, so one day that won't be true anymore, but I don't think that the boom bust cycle of crypto is played out. So that's my base case. Happening's bullish. It isn't priced in. We're not going to feel the true effects and impacts of it immediately. It's going to be more of a next year thing. Um, and you know the technical analysts will probably look back at 2024 and 2025 and have an argument about whether it was one bull market or two bull markets.
It's a good point. To be clear, I meant priced in terms of I don't see anything happening right away. Like I don't think it's going to be a major
Okay.
market that's going to make the price go down or up. But I do believe it's priced in, and Friday or the weekend should be a bit of a nothing burger. If anything, we may see people
I'm gonna
buying
agree
back in.
I'm gonna agree with that. Um, I don't think it's priced in over the next 12 months
Sure.
is probably like the more clear way to refine it. But that is looking at past performance, past impacts. And the past impacts is not that Bitcoin shoots up the day after the halving or immediately on the halving. It is that the following year is where you see a cycle top. Um, And short term, I think that the bigger catalysts that we're facing are political and monetary policy based and ETF based, with a little bit of fearful news splashed in when we have things like the Uniswap situation. So short term, I think that's actually like, much more important to price action than the happening. But the happening is a reminder. It is a reminder to us that historically we see the cycle peak the following year, and that the impacts of the happening are felt cascading outward from the present.
So I'm curious, and I've seen this on my timeline in my networks being talked about. Do you think this coin goes to $100?
No.
Okay, good. Me neither.
I mean, it could.
Uh,
It could. I don't, but I don't see a 200x or 180x on Bowden. Um, but I don't know. I could see it. I could see political memes doing well this year. Perhaps political meme coins end up outperforming cats over the next call it the next 7 months.
yeah, I
But
agree. I mean,
meme trains it's like surfing. You got to see, when there's a wave, you jump on the wave. Um, but yeah, I don't have any particular bullish or bearishness on Bowden.
fair enough. How about XRP? How do you feel about XRP? And I'm not talking about the Harry Potter version, the good old stable coin that is XRP. Hmm.
Um, I think that the fact that XRP is number 8 on Coin Market Cap on the market cap list is a sign of how early we still are.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Well, to segue over, to the Harry Potter version, not the Harry Potter version, XRP is launching a dollar-backed stablecoin. I mean, way to try and outperform PayPal here, Ripple. In the race to serve the unbanked and the underserved economic, you know, audiences of the world. I do respect what Ripple's trying to do. Obviously, they've built a huge base in Africa and in certain other places where they're underserved by the banking industry, and frankly, there's not a lot of trust there for that type of stuff. So they're looking to bring out a stable coin that's backed by dollar deposits, treasuries, and other cash equivalents. Let's ask Tether about other cash equivalents, because it could be high grade commercial paper or other money market instruments. Um, I mean, having a stable coin would be worth more than XRP right now. So I don't know if this is exactly what they need as a shot in the arm. Perhaps having this for specifically for their international audiences to have a stable coin, that people who are bullish about XRP can get into and then use for payments. I think that would probably be this is a smart play for them overall. It was something that they needed to do, in my personal opinion. It was more rather of not if but when for me. So, um,
You know what, Chris?
what's that?
I love to see new stablecoins. As a mercenary yield farmer, more stablecoins means more easy yield.
Yeah,
because they're going to need if they're going to be on chain and they're not just going to be like through some centralized application. This means more competition. Competition means higher yields. Um, and we are seeing amazing competition and high yields on stable coins thus far this cycle.
agreed.
So this is great. I think everybody should launch a backed stable coin. As long as it isn't a funny money stable coin, as long as it has some actual backing, either in a bank account or on chain, and is reasonably transparent, that's amazing. More the merrier. Fracture that liquidity, baby. Fracture it.
I thought you were going to talk about fracks for a second when you started to say frack. But you mean fracture the liquidity?
You're
Let's
just
see it.
on. You're just on. Your eyes are on alert for puns today because
They are.
I caught your catalyst.
You did, and now that you said that, I have to be on my game for that type of stuff. They've also announced. I mean, for me to see this in 2024 is just wild. That Ripple steps into DeFi. They're announcing a lending protocol. I'll be honest, I don't even know how this is going to work. Uh, exactly how you're going to get access to the ledger. I'm guessing a separate wallet.
This is
And it
interesting. I'll
looks
have to
like,
look into this more because as
yeah,
as much of like not an XRP believer I am, man, there are some people hodling XRP that really believe in XRP for
yeah,
whatever
especially in
reason.
our own
I'm,
mastermind.
sh-
Yeah.
I'm sure they've got reasons. Um, so you're potentially going to see some adoption from the XRP enthusiasts regarding whatever innovations they are seeking.
Yeah, and there's been some staking options for XRP on various platforms for, quite some time. But to have a specific lending platform where it looks like you can let's see, allows XRP, wrap Bitcoin, wrap ETH to a lending pool to earn interest. I mean, that's a start. But if I can actually, earn off my XRP instead of just holding it in my wallet, if I can actually borrow stable coins and farm them, in whatever arena, like if they had a bridge between XRP funds and something else, using CCIP and some of these other protocols that are around, I think that'd be interesting. So yeah, it's good to see. I'll be honest, I'm glad XRP is getting into DeFi. More of these coins need better DeFi. And I'm looking at you, Cardano. So hopefully we get to see more interoperability, more transparency between a lot of these layers, much like Cosmos, Solana, and Ethereum have done. And I hope we see more of these that are out there. I do think with the advent of zero knowledge proofs and stuff like that, Andrew, I do believe that hopefully we'll see more abstraction on the back end behind all of this zero knowledge. So it doesn't matter specifically, where your assets come from. Just know that they are interoperably tied behind the scenes and can be all used as a way to receive incentivized yield. I think that would be fantastic. And they want me to accept cookies. Fine, I will take your cookies. All right, so we'll go and move on. If you have another thought, Andrew, we'll go back to that. Specifically about this last one, Sam CZ Sun, who's if you're on Twitter, I follow Sam. I followed him for a while. Uh, works alongside some really good detectives like Zach XBT and the others. He's part of a group called SEAL that is going to be a white hat hacking team going more mainstream to help protocols protect themselves, uh, specifically from black hat or bad hacker exploits. White hat hackers are what we call ethical hackers in the IT space. They are out there, they're researching, they're doing what's called penetration testing or pen testing, looking for vulnerabilities actively in code. And many of them make a very good living at it because of bug bounties and other types of payment mechanisms for finding issues with smart contracts. And I do like the fact that there are actual humans and not AI heading up something like this, because AI can only go so far when it comes to experience and, I guess the human factor, that intangible. Any thoughts, Andrew?
Security is incredibly important for the long-term success in the space. So it's great to see industry partnerships collaborate around this and invest in it.
I agree. I agree. Would it be weird? Sorry for my voice just cracking. Would it be weird for a team like this to have a token for like an insurance slush fund or something like that? Is that weird? Is that
I mean, I don't know that it's weird. I don't know like
is that a bad look?
I don't know.
Sorry
It
to
kind of feels like this is a nonprofit slash public good kind of thing.
yeah.
Um, it might be cool if there was a way to donate to them, but I don't know that them like having a token would make sense.
Yeah, and I agree. So I was on a Twitter space this morning, specifically about how Web3 can help in times of wartime and conflict, and I think you bring up a great point that um, Web3 is a wonderful place to have the ability to raise funds, public goods type of stuff outside of the eye of sovereign influence, right? So, regardless of how you feel about certain brands being deplatformed for whatever reason, the ability in a DeFi world for them to have, equity in terms of their voice and their ability to, uh, raise funds, spread knowledge, spread funds, or that is why we're here in DeFi. So, uh, yeah, that went to nowhere. That was a bridge to completely nowhere. So, apologize for that. But I just wanted to say that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's a good thing to see this being worked on. I think don't have a whole lot to say about it, but if you've been in DeFi for a minute, you know that security and exploits are a problem. We essentially saw the last bull market ended by such problems. There was just one exploit, one loss of funds too many. Um, and ultimately, it's your money. You've got to trust that it isn't just going to disappear. So that is kind of like it's kind of like the final boss of DeFi. Is we have to defeat these bugs, defeat these exploits, create systems, create mechanisms to increase the trust. And until that's solved, DeFi is not going to get anywhere, near the market cap of all of crypto. We're still in a very small segment of what is still a fairly undercapitalized asset class. So this is incredibly important. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. It's not something that we can go out and make money on right now. Um, but solving these tough problems are obviously incredibly important for the industry and is just good news.
I agree. I agree. Security is something we hold paramount in our groups, and we believe that you should be safe and secure in this space because it is unregulated, regardless of where regulation may be coming from. It's still very much unregulated in this space. So having good operational security, or OPSEC as we call it, is absolutely important. With that said, speaking of our groups, I definitely want to talk about our free group Total Value Locked, which is the namesake of the show. Feel free to join the hundreds of others who are trying to become smart DeFi investors and learn from the best of the business. Join us for free at TVL, school.com/beacon. And say hi, introduce yourself. I'll hit you up for some swag. And working on getting the swag out. Okay.
Yeah, pop over
So
to TVL, whether you're a member or not. Um, I think you got the link in your name description there, Chris, and also on the video. Pop over there, register, or pop back in if you're already registered, and go comment for early access to the on-chain rotation, the base case recording. And you'll also receive a free training on a particular platform on base from our one of our mastermind sessions the other week. So pop over there. We got some cool content that you may be able to benefit from.
absolutely. So um, we've kind of talked about everything we wanted to talk about in the what we've learned section. So we're going to go ahead and move to. And again, feel free to join. Feel free to check out the most recent one. Andrew has an excellent video from last Friday on chain rotation that you should check out for sure. You can find on our TVL platform. Today's call for help is a question. Again, if you want to have your questions answered by us here on the video, feel free to join TVL, put your question there. You can reach out to me personally, leave a comment here. Happy to take any of those questions if you have one specifically about how to be a great DeFi investor or anything else. I'm not really going to answer any questions about, picks, coin shills or anything like that type of thing. But if you have an honest question about how to get into DeFi, we're happy to answer that here on this call. So the question from AJ is, what are the best options for DCAing into Ethereum? There are multiple for BTC, but I'm looking for one specifically for ETH. And yeah, this is a great question. Thank you, AJ, for that. DCA means dollar cost averaging, meaning you're going to have, so obviously if you have a spot bag, like I bought ETH at 2,800, so your cost basis for that ETH is 2,800. Well, if you dollar cost average into that, you're technically laddering your buys in at different prices to, keep your cost base or your average cost at a specific range. And, helps you gain coins. And at that point, you don't really care about the price too much because you have an average that you're shooting for. So with regards to the most straightforward way to do this, if you use something like your CEX centralized exchange, or any other crypto on-ramp service that's out there in terms of how you can get crypto online, they all have some sort of way to do this through what's called a recurring buy. And that is based off of time. So you want to say every day, every week, you want to DCA into BTC with some funds you have on the platform, or into ETH or any other asset really that they support. You can do that. That's probably the easiest way to DCA. And then what you would do is just after a certain amount of time, you would just move those to like a cold storage wallet, or you could withdraw them into DeFi, whatever you wanted to do there to keep them safe and sound. Because of course we don't recommend using a CEX as a place of storage. If you're using trading services here, that's one thing, but don't use a CEX like a bank. Not a good thing to do. The other method is what are called roundups. And there are a couple services that do this. And basically what a roundup is that you'll connect your bank account or your debit card, credit card, whatever payment service that you have. And then as you make a purchase, it'll round up to the next dollar and then take whatever that amount is and will apply it to purchasing some Bitcoin, some ETH, whatever your asset is that they provide services for. I've used quite a few. The one I'll highlight here is one called Roundly. They have a mobile app, and I think you can actually, specifically divide how much of that asset or assets that you want to get into over time. I know Acorns has this as well. There's another one called Bamboo, even Cash App. So if you use Cash App, the payment app, they do have a roundup function as well as a DCA function, if I'm not mistaken, that you can use to do this. And basically, the way the roundups work, obviously, you're buying such little crypto because you're rounding up change or maybe a percentage of every transaction that you get to, you have a threshold that you have to reach before it'll be released to your account. So that is also an option. Any thoughts on these, Andrew, before I go into the DeFi versions of this? He's thinking.
Um, Application being a little buggy for me there. Couldn't unmute. No, I think it's pretty straightforward. You know, if you want to do it the CEX way, recurring buy on CEX, roundup, kind of cool too.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably do the CEX. If I was going to do it in kind of a not DeFi space, I'd probably just do the recurring buy on a CEX.
I would too. I tried the roundup thing and I made a lot more purchase of crypto than I thought I would using the roundup method because I have a tendency to use, my debit card for many things. So having to explain why there are
It's like
cents
a good thing,
being
sir.
used. What's that?
It's only a good thing.
Oh, of
More
course,
crypto.
more crypto, bullish, right? But if you have to explain that to your partner or your spouse, uh, if you share financials, then there's that. But again, up to you. Figure out what works the best for you. If you're looking for a DeFi based option, there are a couple different ones that are out there. I need to pull up one of them in particular, and that is I think it's Calc Finance. That's actually in the Cosmos space. And before while I pull that up, you can actually do this as well on perp dexes. So anything like GMX, uh, Jupiter, Hyperliquid, HMX, Vela, all of these perp dexes should have a recurring buy function where you take funds that are in the protocol and it uses it to purchase over a specific amount of time. You could also just do limit buys as well. That's obviously also an option if you're out there doing that. But one thing, at least in DeFi, if you're keen on Cosmos, there is there's calculated for Calc Finance, and basically it's just an algorithmic way to DCA in to specific uh, coins, and this is based on the Kajira blockchain. Uh, there's also a different way to do it through Base. There's one called Definitive Finance, I think is what it's called. Yes, Definitive Finance. And the other option, if you're not going to be using any of those methods, is to use concentrated liquidity. That's an easy way to DCA into ETH. If you're using USDC, set up an ETH to USDC position. As the price of ETH rises, you'll gain more USDC, and then the opposite's true as ETH goes down. So that's another way to easily DCA in. There's also some ETF style type of pools at perp dexes with liquidity pools that you can use to DCA in as well, because you can put in any asset you like going in that's supported and then withdraw in a blue chip. So that's another way to DCA in and out of ETH. So any other options, Andrew, that you think I might have missed there?
So there is the old-fashioned option, and this is what I prefer to do. I prefer to have the cash I'm going to be DCAing in with in a stablecoin position on chain, and then on either a weekly or monthly basis, whatever I'm DCAing into, I just go do it manually. So these automated ideas, these set it and forget it's, they're great. But I do like to stretch my yield. And until there's an on-chain automation that I can set up that, pulls the asset out of the yielding position, makes the purchase, and just kind of does that for me, I'm just going to keep doing it manually.
And there are some protocols we met at ETH Denver that are keen on helping us with with those things. So hopefully we see some movement on that, or maybe we come up with a strategy that people can replicate moving
For
forward.
sure.
For sure. Well, guys, that's all we have for you this week. Thanks for joining us today on the TVL show. Anything else you want to talk about, Andrew, before we head home?
Nah, keep calm. I'm buying some discounts. And remember that the halvening is not just a light switch that makes the price go up.
Agreed. And you notice how
It's
we've
kind of
lost
like
like 30
it's
minutes.
kind of like a smoldering fire.
Smoldering fire. Notice how we've lost like 30 minutes since we've been on this call, because it was like 2.5 and a half hours, and now we're just under 2 and 4. So, the timing of blocks can be interesting in terms of how they finalize. So
It's an estimate.
yeah, it's an estimate, right? It's an estimate. Happy Bitcoin halving for everybody out there. Again, this happens once every 4 years, much like the Olympics, the World Cup. What else is an election? That type of deal. That's going to be I don't think it'll be much of an action-packed weekend, but you never know. Now that you know what we know about Hong Kong approving ETFs for both Bitcoin and Ether, we could see some interesting price action this weekend. So with that said, don't forget to like and subscribe again, please. If you want to join our free group, join the hundreds of others who are already becoming smart investors, learning from the best in the business at school on TVL. With that said, 07, have a great afternoon. We'll see you next time, guys. Take care.